When was therapy actually torture? My parents sent me to a conversion camp where they tried to cure my left-handedness by tying my left arm behind my back for months and beating me whenever they caught me using it because they believed left-handed people were possessed by demons. My parents had always been religious fanatics, but when I started writing with my left hand in kindergarten, they completely lost their minds. They became obsessed with correcting me before the devil could take hold, and by the time I was 8, they were tying my left hand behind my back during meals and hitting me with wooden spoons whenever I reached for things with the wrong hand. Our church made everything worse by telling them that left-handedness was a gateway for demonic possession and that they needed to take drastic action. The devil enters through the left side of the body, the pastor would preach, staring directly at me. That child needs intensive spiritual rehabilitation before it's too late. When I turned 12, my parents announced I'd be spending the summer at Camp Righteous Path, a special facility that promised to realign left-handed children with God's natural order. The director was this guy, Olson, who claimed he had personally cast demons out of over 300 left-handed children. The first day, he explained my treatment plan with disturbing enthusiasm. We're going to break that demonic connection. Your left arm will be permanently restrained, and every time you attempt to use it, you'll receive correction until your brain learns to obey God's design. He showed me the leather harness they would strap to my body, pinning my left arm completely immobile against my back. Some children take longer than others to accept the Lord's will, he said with a sick smile, but they all break eventually. Living with my arm strapped down was pure agony that consumed every moment of every day. The leather cut into my skin until it was raw and bleeding, and my shoulder felt like it was being pulled out of its socket constantly. Simple tasks like eating or writing became torture sessions where counselors would beat me with paddles whenever I instinctively tried to use my left side. Olson would force me to practice writing my name with my right hand for hours, while he stood behind me with a belt, striking me across the back every time my letters were crooked. The demon is fighting back, he would say as I sobbed over my mangled handwriting, but we're going to beat it out of you if it takes all summer. The breaking point came when I overheard him bragging to another counselor about his methods. This one's got a particularly strong demon, he said, laughing, but I've never met a demon I couldn't beat to death. One day during arts and crafts time, I pocketed a pair of scissors and used them to cut myself loose. I ran through the woods and made it to a nearby town where I used a gas station phone to call my aunt, who had always seemed relatively sane. When she picked me up and saw the condition I was in, she was horrified. I'm putting a stop to this insanity, she said, and for 2 beautiful weeks, I lived with her and felt normal again. She told me that being left-handed was perfectly natural and even bought me special left-handed scissors and notebooks. I thought my nightmare was finally over and that my aunt would protect me from my parents' madness. But then my parents showed up at my aunt's house with Olson, demanding I be returned immediately. They told her that I had been making tremendous progress at camp and that pulling me out early would undo months of spiritual healing. The demon is still inside him, Pastor Williams said, pointing at me like I was contaminated. If we don't complete the treatment now, it will grow stronger and he'll be lost forever. They convinced Rebecca that they knew what was best for my spiritual well-being and made fake promises that they'd treat me more gently this time. In reality, my parents had them escalate my treatment as punishment for escaping, convincing Director Olson to add leg restraints and extend my stay through the entire school year. Since you clearly can't be trusted, Director Olson announced, you'll now spend 23 hours a day in full restraints until every trace of rebellion is beaten out of you. But one day, the camp nurse was treating my sores from the restraints and decided she couldn't watch the abuse anymore. She snuck into my room and cut my restraints. She drove me straight to the police station and testified about everything she had witnessed at the camp. The authorities raided Camp Righteous Path the next day and shut it down permanently, arresting Olson and several counselors for child abuse. I was placed in foster care because my parents refused to accept that there was nothing wrong with being left-handed, and they still believe I'm possessed by demons to this day. I'm no contact with them, but I still flinch whenever someone comments on my left-handedness, and I catch myself trying to hide it in public so no one thinks I'm satanic.